This breathwork routine offers tools and benefits similar to that given by the oxygen advantage and Buteyko breathing, but this one comes from the tradition of the samurai. On the eve of battle, the samurai might have new recruits, young men who are ambitious, ready to fight, well-trained with the sword and spear and bow and arrow. But before the older samurai would allow them to join battle, they'd have them sit on the battlefield amidst the war cries of the enemy, and they'd place a down feather on their upper lip. And if the samurai recruit could breathe calmly, softly, slowly enough through their nose that they wouldn't blow the feather away, then they were considered ready for battle. They'd calmed their nerves, they'd mastered their mind, their mental focus, their fear. So don't worry, you don't need a feather today, just a comfortable seated position, ideally with your back straight, your crown reaching away from your sit bones. You can be kneeling in a chair, cross-legged, whatever's comfortable for your joints and spine. Just start to notice your breathing through your nose. Lips are closed, tongue is gently touching the roof of the mouth just behind the top front teeth. Allow the breath to just be natural at first. And then we'll take our index finger and place it on the upper lip. So that's on the lip itself, not the mustache area. So there's about half an inch or so between the finger and the nostrils. And as you continue to breathe naturally, start to notice the feeling of the breath on the top of that finger. You might notice the movement of air on the finger, as well as the sensation of warmth or humidity in the breath. And at first, just notice how it feels when you allow the breath to breathe on its own. If your finger was a soft, light, downy feather, would it be blown away by this breath? In most cases, the answer will be yes. But let's start to dial our breath back slowly. So for now, just on the exhale, try slowing and softening the exit of that breath out of your nostrils to minimize the sensation of the movement of air on that finger. You don't have to completely eliminate the feeling of air moving on the finger right away. But that is what we're aiming towards eventually, is to not feel any movement of air at all. Of course, you may still feel warmth or humidity, but the feeling of wind, of movement of air on the finger, we want to eliminate completely eventually. So with each breath, just keep softening further, slowing, making that exhale more fine. The inhale you can just allow to be natural. And see if you can slow those exhales to the point that you even feel a little bit of air hunger. That feeling that we're not getting enough oxygen, which is really a signal from the body that you have too much carbon dioxide. So perhaps it should be called air sickness rather than air hunger. But part of the Buteyko philosophy, the oxygen advantage philosophy, that is so prevalent now in the world of natural health and optimization, is that our bodies are actually too sensitive to carbon dioxide for most people. And that we can get a lot of benefit by learning to find comfort with higher levels of CO2 in the body. We desensitize our brain to those higher levels of CO2, which ironically, that higher level of CO2 in the blood actually changes the blood pH in a way that allows the red blood cells to release the oxygen they're carrying into the surrounding tissues at a higher rate. So the irony here is we breathe less, but our brains and our tissues get more oxygen. So to cultivate that, we just want to ride that edge of air hunger. So get that breath as soft as you can to the point that you have that little bit of air hunger, a little bit of air sickness, that urge to take a deeper breath, but it's not overwhelming. You're just riding the very edge of that discomfort, and you try to stay there. As you continue to practice on a daily basis, or just as often as you can, you'll notice you can breathe softer, slower, and finer, with less and less feeling of air hunger. And if you've gotten that exhale to the point that you don't feel any movement of air, any wind at all on the finger, then try adding the inhale. So the inhale as well, softening, as though there were this downy feather on your lip and you were trying not to suck it up into your nostrils, but to just leave it on the lip. Slow and soften the inhale, slow and soften the exhale. And if at any point that air hunger becomes overwhelming, feel free to take a big deep breath, take a little break, and then return to the technique. You're also always welcome to switch hands if your arm or shoulder gets tired. Might even be encouraged to keep balance in your muscles. Noticing the mind becoming more focused as the breath becomes finer and softer. Now release the hand, release the feather breathing technique, and return to breathing naturally through the nose. Tongue still touching the roof of the mouth. Spine still straight but fairly relaxed. And just notice any changes in your breath from when we started. Perhaps it now seems to just naturally breathe fine, slow and soft. And perhaps your mind as well has become more finely tuned, more focused, calm yet alert. The breath is such a powerful tool to change the brain waves, change the state of mind, state of the nervous system. Just notice that for another moment. Rest in that state of presence. Feel free to stay here as long as you like, or you can close the meditation here. Either way, thank you so much for joining me. My name's Nick Lawfrey. In the future, you might use this meditation as part of your yoga or Qigong practice, perhaps at the end of your practice. And if you'd like to visit this beautiful Japanese garden, it is in Iwakuni, Japan, underneath the Iwakuni Shogun Castle at Kintaikyo Bridge. Hope to see you again. Thanks for joining.